Hold on. Chapter 27. Oh, Judas. Let's see. All right, let's see. Oh, look at that. A lot of shit. A lot of things to take in on that one. The fuck is that? The Sepharic tree of the latter Kabbalists. Having demonstrated that the Kabbalists divided the universe into 4 worlds, each consisting of 10 spheres, it is necessary to consider next how the 10 spheres of each world were arranged into what is called the Sepharic tree. This tree is composed of 10 circles representing the numbers 1 to 10 and connected together by 22 canals, the 22 letters of the Hebrew alphabet. The 10 numbers plus the 22 letters result in the occult number 32, which, according to the Mishnah, signifies the 32 paths of wisdom. Letters and numbers, according to the Kabbalists, are the keys to all knowledge. For by a secret system of arranging them, the mysteries of creation are revealed. For this reason, they are called the paths of wisdom. This occult fact is carefully concealed in the 32nd degree of Freemasonry. How convenient. There are 4 trees, one in each of the 4 worlds described in the preceding chapter. The first is in the Aztec world, the 10 circles being the 10 globes of light established in the midst of Ein Sof. The powers and attributes of this tree are reflected into each of the 3 lower worlds. The form of the tree remaining the same, but its power diminishing as it descends. To further complicate their doctrine, the Kabbalists created another tree, which was a composite of all 4 of the world trees, but consisted of only 10 globes. In this single tree were condensed all the arcana previously scattered through the voluminous archives of Kabbalistic literature. Chapter 27, the Tree of the Sephiroth. The Tree of the Sephiroth may be considered an invaluable compendium of the secret philosophy which originally was the spirit and soul of Chassidism. Chassidism? Yeah. The Kabbalah is the priceless heritage of Israel, but each year those who comprehend its true principles become fewer in number. The Jew of today, he lacks a realization of the profundity of his people's doctrines. It is usually permeated with that most dangerous form of ignorance, modernism, and is prone to regard the Kabbalah either as an evil to be shunned like the plague or as a ridiculous superstition which has survived the black magic of the Dark Ages. Yet, without the key which the Kabbalah supplies, the spiritual mysteries of both the Old and the New Testament must remain unsolved by Jew and Gentile alike. The Sepharic tree consists of 10 globes of luminous splendor arranged in 3 vertical columns and connected by 22 channels or paths. The 10 globes are called the Sepharith, and to them are assigned the numbers 1 to 10. The 3 columns are called mercy on the right, severity on the left, and between them, mildness as the reconciling power. The columns may also be said to represent wisdom, strength, and beauty, which form the triune support of the universe. For it is written that the foundation of all things is the 3. The 22 channels are the letters of the Hebrew alphabet, and to them are assigned the major trumps of the tarot deck of symbolic cards. Eliphas Levi declared that by arranging the tarot cards according to the definite order, man could discover all that is knowledgeable concerning his God, his universe, and himself. When the 10 numbers which pertain to the globes, Sephiroth, are combined with the 22 letters relating to the channels, the resultant sum is 32, the number peculiar to the Kabbalistic paths of wisdom. These paths occasionally referred to as the 32 teeth in the mouth of the vast continents, or as the 32 nerves that branch out from the divine brain, are analogous to the first 32 degrees of Freemasonry, which elevate the candidate to the dignity of a prince of the royal secret. Kabbalists also consider it extremely significant that in the original Hebrew scriptures, the name of God should occur 32 times in the first chapter of Genesis. In the English translations of the Bible, the name appears 33 times. In the mystic analysis of the human body, according to the rabbins, 32 spinal segments lead upward to the temple of wisdom, the skull. The four Kabbalistic trees described in the preceding chapter were combined by later Jewish scholars into one all-inclusive diagram and termed by them not only the Sephirothic, but also the archetypal or heavenly Adam. According to some authorities, it is this heavenly Adam and not a terrestrial man whose creation is described in the opening chapters of Genesis. Out of the substances of this divine man, the universe was formed. In him it remains and will continue even after dissolution shall resolve the spheres back into their own primitive substance. The deity is never conceived of as actually contained in the Sephiroth, which are purely hypothetical vessels employed to define the limits of the creative essence. Adolf Frank rather likens the Sephiroth to varicolored transparent glass bowls filled with pure light, which apparently assumes the color of its containers, but whose essential nature remains ever unchanged and unchangeable. The 10 Sephiroth composing the body of the prototypic Adam, the numbers related to them, and the parts of the universe to which they correspond are as follows. 1. Kether, the crown, premium mobile, the fire. Oh, wait, okay, hold on. Jesus. All right. No, there is no Jesus. Let's see. Number, then the Sephiroth. Okay, then the universe, and then the alternative. So we got number 1, Kether, the crown. It's the premium mobile, the fiery heavens. 2, Chochama, wisdom, the zodiac, the first motion. 3, Binah, understanding, Saturn, the zodiac. 4, Cheesed, mercy, Jupiter, Saturn. 5, Gabura, severity, Mars, Jupiter. 6, Tefereth, beauty, Sun, Mars. 7, Natsa, victory, Venus, Sun. 8, Hod, glory, Mercury, Venus. 9, Jasad, foundation, Moon, Mercury. 10, Makuth, kingdom, elements, Moon. It must continually be emphasized that the Sephiroth and the properties assigned to them, like the Tetris of the Pythagoreans, are merely symbols of the cosmic system with its multitude of parts. The truer and fuller meaning of these emblems may not be revealed by writing or by word of mouth, but must be divined as the result of study and meditation. In the Sefer HaZohar, it is written that there is a garment, the written doctrine, which every man may see. Those who with understanding do not look upon the garment, but at the body beneath it, the intellectual and philosophical code. The wisest of all, however, the servants of the heavenly king, look at nothing save the soul, the spiritual doctrine, which is the eternal and ever-springing root of the law. Of this great truth, Eliphas Levi also writes, declaring that none can gain entrance to the secret house of wisdom unless he wear the voluminous cape of Apollonius of Tyana and carry in his hand the lamp of Hermes. The cape signifies the qualities of self-possession and self-reliance, which must envelop the seeker as a cloak of strength, while the ever-burning lamp at the sage represents the illumined mind and perfectly balanced intellect without which the mystery of the ages can never be solved. The Sephiroth tree is sometimes depicted as a human body, thus more definitely establishing the true identity of the first, or heavenly man, Adam Kadmon, the idea of the universe. The 10 divine globes, Sephiroth, are then considered as analogous to the 10 sacred members and organs of the protogonus. According to the following arrangement, Kether is the crown of the prototypic head and perhaps refers to the pineal gland. Kokma and Binah are the right and left hemispheres, respectively, of the great brain. Chest and Gabura, Pakad, are the right and left arms, respectively, signifying the active creative members of the grand man. Tifereth is the heart, or, according to some, the entire viscera. Netzah and Hod are the right and left legs, respectively, or the supports of the world. Jesod is the generative system, or the foundation of form, and Malkuth represents the 2 feet, or the base being. Occasionally, Jesod is considered as the male and Malkuth as the female generative power. The grand man thus conceived is the gigantic image of Nebuchadnezzar's dream, with head of gold, arms and chest of silver, body of brass, legs of iron, and feet of clay. The medieval Kabbalists also assigned one of the 10 commandments and a 10th part of the Lord's Prayer in sequential order to each of the 10 Sephiroth. Concerning the emanations from Kether, which established themselves as 3 triads of creative power, termed in the Sefer HaZohar 3 heads, each with 3 faces. H.P. Blavatsky writes, this Kether was the first Sephiroth containing in herself the other 9 Sephiroth, or intelligences. In their totality and unity, they represent the archetypal man, Adam Kadmon, that's some Hebrew or Greek, who in his individuality or unity is yet dual or bisexual, the Greek Didymos, for he is the prototype of all humanity. Thus we obtain 3 trinities, each contained in a head. In the first head or face, the 3-faced Hindu Trimurti, we find Sephira, Kether, the first androgen, at the apex of the upper triangle, emitting Hakama, Kokama, or wisdom, a masculine and active potency, also called Jah, and Binah, or intelligence, a female and passive potency, also represented by the name Jehovah. These 3 form the first trinity or face of the Sephiroth. This triad emanated Hesed, or mercy, a masculine active potency, also called El, from which emanated Gabura, or justice, also called Aloha, a feminine passive potency. From the union of these 2 was produced Teferath, beauty, clemency, the spiritual son, known by the divine name Elohim, and the second triad, face or head, was formed, these emanating, in their turn, the masculine potency Netzah, firmness of Jehovah Sabaoth, who issued the feminine passive potency Hod, splendor, or Elohim Sabaoth. The 2 produced Jesod, foundation, who is the mighty living one El-Kai, thus yielding the 3rd trinity or head. The 10th Sephiroth is rather a duad, and is represented on the diagrams as the lowest circle. It is Malkuth, or kingdom, the Shekinah, also called Adoni, and cherubim among the angelic hosts. The first head is called the intellectual world, the second head is the sensuous, or the world of perception, and the third is the material or physical world. See Isis Unveiled. Among the later Kabbalists, there is also a division of the Sephirotic tree into 5 parts, in which the distribution of the globes is according to the following order. 1. Macroprosophos, or the Great Face, is the term applied to Kether as the first and most exalted of the Sephiroth, and includes the 9 potencies of Sephiroth issuing from Kether. 2. Abba, the Great Father, is the term generally applied to Kokma, universal wisdom, the first emanation of Kether, but according to Ibn Geberol, Kokma represents the sun. It's not Kokma, that's Kokma. Yeah. The Logos, or the Word born from the union of Kether and Binah. All right. Jesus. Hold on. I forgot about that. A lot of stuff. A lot of little writing. Yikes. Anyways, that is a table of Sephirotic correspondences. The above diagram has been specifically translated from the Latin as being of unique value to students of Kabbalism and also as an example of Robert Flood's unusual ability in assembling tables of correspondence. Robert Flood ranks among the most eminent Rosicrucians and Freemasons. In fact, he has often been called the first English Rosicrucian. He has written several valuable documents directly bearing upon the Rosicrucian enigma. It is significant that the most important of his works should be published at the same time as those of Bacon, Shakespeare, and the first Rosicrucian authors. Back to it. 3. Amia, the Great Mother, is the name by which Bina, the third Sephirah, is generally known. This is the Holy Ghost from whose body the generations issue forth. Being the third person of the creative triad, it corresponds to Jehovah, the Demiurgus. 4. Microprosophos, or the lesser face, is composed of the 6 Sephiroth, Ches, Geburah, Tippereth, Netzah, Hod, and Jesod. The microprosophos is commonly called the lesser atom, or Zaur Anpin, whereas the macroprosophorus, or superior atom, is Araka Anpin. The lesser face is properly symbolized by the 6-pointed star or interlaced triangles of Zion and also by the 6 faces of the cube. It represents the directions north, east, west, and south, up and down, and also the first 6 days of creation. In his list of the parts of the microprosophos, MacGregor Mathers includes Bina as the first and superior parts of the lesser atom, thus making his constitution sepentary. If microprosophos be considered as sexpartite, then his globes, Sephiroth, are analogous to the 6 days of creation, and the 10th globe, Malkuth, to the Sabbath of rest. 5. The bride of microprosophos is Malkuth, the epitome of the Sephiroth, its quaternary constitution being composed of blending of the 4 elements. This is the divine Eve that is taken out of the side of microprosophos and combines the potencies of the entire Kabbalistic tree in one sphere, which may be termed man. According to the mysteries of the Sephiroth, the order of the creation, or the divine lightning flash, which zigzags through the 4 worlds according to the order of the divine emanations, is thus described. From Ein Sof, the nothing. From Ein Sof, hyphens, fuck me up. From Ein Sof, the nothing and all, the eternal and unconditioned potency, issues Macroprosophos, the long face, of whom it is written, within his skull exist daily 13,000 myriads of worlds which draw their existence from him and by him are upheld. See the Greater Holy Assembly. Macroprosophos, the directionalized will of Ein Sof, corresponding to Kether, the crown of the Sephiroth, gives birth out of himself to the 9 lesser spheres of which he is the son and the overbrooding cause, the 22 letters of the Hebrew alphabet, by the various combinations of which the laws of the universe are established, constitute the scepter of Macroprosophos, which he wields from his flaming throne in the Atzilithic world. From this eternal and ancient androgen, Kether, come forth Kokoma, the Great Father, and Bina, the Great Mother. These 2 are usually referred to as Abba and Ama, respectively. The first male and the first female, the prototypes of sex. These correspond to the first 2 letters of the sacred name Jehovah, IHVH. The father is, or I, and the mother is, or H. I don't know those words. That'd be kind of cool if I could one day translate that shit, but Abba and Ima symbolize the creative activities of the universe and are established in the creative world of Bina. In the Sefer HaZohar it is written, and therefore are all things established in the equality of male and female, for Were it not so, how could they subsist? The beginning is the father of all things, the father of all fathers, and both are mutually bound together, and the one path shineth into the other. Kokama, wisdom, as the father, Bina, understanding, as the mother. There is a difference of opinion concerning certain of the relationships of the parts of the first triad. Some Kabbalists, including Ibn Geberl, consider Kether as the father, Bina as the mother, and Kokama as the son. In this later arrangement, wisdom, which is the attribute of the sun, becomes the creator of the lower spheres. The symbol of Bina is the dove, a proper emblem for the brooding maternal instinct of the universal mother. Because of the close similarity of their creative triad to the Christian Trinity, the later Kabbalists rearranged the first three Sephiroth and added a mysterious point called Daith, a hypothetical 11th Sephirah. This is located where the horizontal line connecting Kokama and Bina crosses the vertical line joining Kether and Tifereth. Hold on, let me go back to that. Son of a bitch. There it is. Yeah, just so y'all paying attention. While Daith is not mentioned by the first Kabbalists, it is a highly important element, and its addition to the Sephiric tree was not made without full realization of the significance of such action. If Kokma be considered the active, intelligent energy of Kether, and Bina the receptive capacity of Kether, then Daith becomes the thought which, created by Kokma, flows into Bina. The postulation of Daith clarifies the problem of the creative trinity, for here it is diagrammatically represented as consisting of Kokma, the Father, Bina, the Mother, Holy Ghost, and Daith, the Word by which the worlds were established. Isaac Meyer discounts the importance of Daith, declaring it a subterfuge to conceal the fact that Kether and not the Kokma is the true father of the creative triad. He makes no attempt to give a satisfactory explanation for the symbolism of this hypothetical Sephirah. According to the original conception, from the union of the Divine Father and the Divine Mother is produced Microprosophos, the short face, or the lesser continents, which is established in the Yetziratic world of formation and corresponds to the letter or V in the great name. The six powers of Microprosophos flow from and are contained in their own source, which is Bina, the mother of the lesser atom. These constitute the spheres of the sacred planets, their name being Elohim, and they move upon the face of the deep. The 10th Sephirah, Malkuth, the kingdom, is described as the bride of the lesser atom, created back to back with her Lord, and to it is assigned the final H, the last letter of the sacred name. The dwelling place of Malkuth is in the fourth world, Asea, and it is composed of all the superior powers reflected into the elements of the terrestrial sphere. Thus it will be seen that the Kabbalistic tree extends through four worlds, and its branches in matter and its roots in the ancient of ancients, Macroprosophos. Three vertical columns support the universal system as typified by the Sephirotic tree. The central pillar has its foundation in Kether, the eternal one. Passes downward through the hypothetical Sephirah, Daith, and then through Tifereth and Jasad, with its lower and end resting upon the firm foundation of Malkuth, the last of the globes. The true import of the central pillar is equilibrium. It demonstrates how the deity always manifests by emanating poles of expression from the midst of itself, but remaining free from the illusion of polarity. If the numbers of the four Sephiroth connected by this column be added together, 1 plus 6 plus 9 plus 10, the sum is 26, the number of Jehovah. See a chapter on Pythagorean mathematics. The column on the right, which is called Jachin, has its foundation on Kokma, the outpouring wisdom of God. The three globes suspended from it are all masculine potencies. The column at the left is called Boaz, The 3 globes upon it are feminine and receptive potencies, for it is founded in understanding, a receptive and material potency. Wisdom, it will be noted, is considered as radiant or outpouring, and understanding as receptive or something which is filled by the flowing of wisdom. The 3 pillars are ultimately united in Malkuth. I said that right. In which all the powers of the superior worlds are manifested. The 4 globes upon the central column reveal the function of the creative power in the various worlds. In the first world, the creative power is will, the one divine cause. In the second world, the hypothetical deith, the word coming forth from the divine thought. In the third world, Tepereth, the sun, or focal point between God and nature. In the fourth world, it is twofold, being the positive and negative poles of the reproductive system, of which Jesad is the male and Malkuth the female. In Kircher's Sephardic tree, it should be especially noted that the ornaments of the tabernacle appear in the various parts of the diagram. These indicate a direct relationship between the sacred house of God and the universe, a relationship which must always be considered as existing between the deity through whose activity the world is produced and the world itself, which must be the house or vehicle of that deity. Could the modern scientific world but sense the true profundity of these philosophical deductions of the ancients, it would realize that those who fabricated the structure of the Kabbalah possessed a knowledge of the celestial plan comparable in every respect with that of the modern savant. The Tetragrammaton, or the 4-lettered name of God, written thus, is pronounced Jehovah. The first letter is Yod, the germ, the life, the flame, the cause, the one, and the most fundamental of the Jewish phallic emblems. Its numerical value is 10, and it is to be considered as the one containing the 10. In the Kabbalah, it is declared that the Yod is in reality 3 Yods, of which the first is the beginning, the second is the center, and the third is the end. Its throne is the Sephira Kokma, according to Ibn Geberal Kether, from which it goes forth to impregnate Bina, which is the first he. The result of this union is Tefereth, which is the Vau, whose power is 6 and which symbolizes the 6 members of the lesser atom. The final He is Malkuth, the inferior mother, partaking in part of the potencies of the divine mother, the first he. By placing the 4 letters of the Tetragrammaton in vertical column, a figure closely resembling the human body is produced, with Yod for the head, the first He for the arms and shoulders, Vau for the trunk of the body, and the final He for the hips and legs. If the Hebrew letters be exchanged for their English equivalents, the form is not materially changed or the analogy altered. It is also extremely significant that by inserting the letter Shin in the middle of the name Jehovah, the word Jehoshua or Jesus, is formed thus. And they show a little picture of how thus it was formed. That shit? All right. In the Kabbalist mysteries, according to Eliphas Levi, the name Jehovah is occasionally written by connecting together 24 dots, the 24 powers before the throne, and it is believed that the name of the power of evil is the sign of Jehovah reversed or inverted. See Transcendental Magic. Of the Great Word, Albert Pike writes, "The true word of a Mason is to be found in the concealed and profound meaning of the ineffable name of deity communicated by God to Moses, and which meaning was long lost by the very precautions taken to conceal it. The true pronunciation of that name was in truth a secret, in which, however, was involved the far more profound secret of its meaning. In that meaning is included all the truth that can be known by us in regard to the nature of God." See Morals and Dogma. The next lesson will be the Kabbalist key to the creation of man.